Well, the BMW Caulfield Cup picture became a little bit clearer today with the release of weights. And joining us to explain his findings is Racing Victoria's chief handicapper, Greg Carpenter, who allotted 58 kilos to the past two Melbourne Cup winners, Americain and Dunaden.
Yeah, joint honour this year for Dunaden and Americain to be top weights when they were published today. It's a bit of a poison chalice because there's no horse when the weights have originally been released headed the weights and actually won the Caulfield Cup. But I think we've got a really good chance this year with Dunaden. Very encouraging that they've said that they are going to specifically target the Caulfield Cup on the way through to the Melbourne Cup. He had 54.5 last year when he won the Melbourne Cup. He's progressed 3.5 kilos in the weights to 58, which is exactly the same progression that Americain had the previous year. He's a really good 2,400 metre horse. After the Melbourne Cup, he went to Hong Kong and won the Hong Kong Vase, which is a solid Group 1 international race at 2,400. And he's been in good form in Europe. And with Americain, 58, he's also very gifted horse over 2,400 metres, having won a Geelong Cup and a Zipping Classic over that distance. So if either or both of them run well, I'm sure that they can be competitive even with the 58. And the last horse to win with that weight was Northerly back in 2002.
And what about the defending champion? She's also got a little bit against her, Southern Speed.
From a historical point of view, there's been 20 mares before her who've won the Caulfield Cup. 9 of them have run back in the race the following year, and there hasn't been one that's been able to win. The closest was exactly 100 years ago when Lady Medalist ran second with 58 in the 1912 Cup. So Southern Speed goes to 54.5. It's 4.5 kilos more than she had last year, although on the day she carried 52.5. So it's a 3 kilo penalty, and it's a 1.5 kilo progression from being a 4-year-old to a 5-year-old.
And what about any other imports? Red Cadeau, for instance, we see he's coming out and may target the Caulfield Cup.
Well, exactly. Another horse like Red Cadeau, who last year had a kilo less than Dunaden in the Melbourne Cup, and we know only got beaten very, very narrowly. He's been placed in the Hong Kong race after that, and he's also another horse who's been in terrific form during the European summer. He's got 55.5, so he meets Dunaden 1.5 kilos better than he did in the Melbourne Cup. Jackleberry's the other one. He's got 55.5, a Group 1 winner overseas. We saw him last start win the American St Ledger, purchased by Australian owners but going to be brought out here by Marco Botti. And it's really a positive sign for this race that genuine Group 1 horses from Europe are going to run in the Caulfield Cup this year.
Now, December Draw, he was all the rage on Caulfield Cup Day last year when he carried 54.5, but unfortunately was injured during the run. How have you assessed him this year?
Well, I really have ignored last year's Caulfield Cup run because we know he had a very serious injury and we haven't seen him since. He had 52 after he won the Naturalism when I penalised him in the weights last year, and then after that he won the Turnbull Stakes at Group 1 level. Now in that race he actually carried 2 kilos more than Southern Speed and beat her in winning that, and also beat Glass Harmonium in a really solid Group 1 race. I wasn't able to penalise him last year, but unfortunately for the connections this year, that Group 1 victory in the Turnbull's taken into account when I've constructed his weight, and he's got 55 kilos. Again, another horse running in the Makybe Diva this Saturday. He's got a terrific record here in Australia, and we'll get a much better guide as to where he is in this preparation after he runs at Flemington.
And what about the remainder? Are there any that you think the punters will latch onto as well-weighted fancies?
Well, I think there's been a lot of hype around Green Moon, who ran second in this race last year to Southern Speed. He's gone from 50.5 after he won the Newcastle Cup, second in the Caulfield Cup, and then winning the Blamey to 53.5. His run in the Memsie last Saturday was very good. I couldn't push him any higher because of the relativity between him and Southern Speed, but certainly on weights I think he's going to be a live prospect with 53.5. And just on last year's Caulfield Cup, the other horse that ran in that race, Tullamore, has got 53. Now, whether or not he comes back to the form from last year, we'll have to wait and see. And I think some of the other horses that people should be looking for are Lamasery from David Van Dyke's stable. He ran a slashing race first up in the Warwick Stakes. He's a multiple group winner. He won a listed race here in the Flemington Carnival, and I thought he's returned in great touch. So he's got 53. And another horse like Permit, who ran so well behind Glenn Cadam's Gold when he resumed on Saturday in the Premier's Cup in Sydney, he's got 52.5. Really a terrific field in depth. There's going to be a lot of winning chances, and I think it's in prospect, one of the best Caulfield Cups we're going to see. There hasn't been a reigning Melbourne Cup and Caulfield Cup horse run in a Caulfield Cup since 2004, when Mama Fi and also Mackay Diva were the reigning Caulfield and Melbourne Cup winners. And with Dunaden Southern Speed, all the Europeans and a big number of high quality Australian stayers, it's going to be a great race.